This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. A participant in nearly 700 PGA Tour events. 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
It's a Sunday morning on 101 ESPN. It's Golf with Jay Delsing as we come to you from the CarShield Studios. We're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Couple of great guests coming up, but as we always do, good morning, Jay. Let's start the show. Let's fire it away.
Danny Mac, I'm so excited to be with you. This is great. We were just laughing, just kind of doing a little run of show. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I so appreciate you being with me. Let's get this thing going, man. We got the Worldwide Tech. We got so much to cover.
Okay, Worldwide Technology, their executive VP is Matt Horner, St. Louis-based company. They're all down in Cabo. Why aren't we on their jet going down there with them? We can find out with Matt Horner. He's going to be in studio with us. And they're there because the tournament formerly known as the Mayakoba Classic, which is held in Mexico, is now the Worldwide Technology Championship. So we'll visit with Matt Horner. He'll be kind enough to stop in studio with us. And then you and I, we both love the NHL. We love the game of hockey, and we've got, I say a St. Louis native, but he's from Canada, but now he calls St. Louis home, and that's longtime NHL referee, now retired, but Tim Peel is coming up.
He's a great guy, and we adopted him. We absolutely adopted him because he's here, and it's all to our benefit. Peels, he's a great guy. You know what's amazing? I can't wait to see the sort of shape that this guy's in. I mean, to be a referee in the NHL, man, you have got to be on your horse. You know,
Are you saying that we couldn't do it? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know about you, but I'm saying this we got no chance.
This we ain't got no chance.
No, I can't. No, haven't escaped. But I mean, Danny, the players, they get to go to the bench and sit down. These guys are all over the place, man. And back in the day, they only had one referee. So there's been all the changes in the NHL. You and I, there's no sports we don't like. This
we love
is just awesome. So they had somebody that was there. I mean, what did we look at, Danny? Almost 1,400 games, and that's just in itself is ridiculous.
I love what the PGA Tour did this weekend, which was having a Tiger Woods design course, first time ever played for an event. Tiger is all over the place right now in Mexico this weekend.
Absolutely. Le Cardinal is a golf course down there. He designed it in 2014. But, I mean, how cool is it to have Worldwide Technologies, our local St. Louis representative on the PGA Tour, and have Tiger all. Did you see a picture? There was a picture with Jim Cavanaugh,
yes,
our buddy, the CEO of the soccer St. Louis guy, the whole thing, with Tiger, and I can't wait. We got to get Matt back on the show. And how did you get to hang out with Tiger? What was it like? And just to have Tiger bring that attention down there, because Danny, the field. It's not the greatest, let's just be honest. It's not the greatest field that they've ever had. We wish we had a few more top players. But all you have to do is sprinkle a little TW around, and all of a sudden
it changes everything.
Everything changes.
You don't care about the field then. I don't. I sit there and I'm waiting for him to go do a clinic or an interview or something. I just want to see the guy.
Anything. I'm with you. Say... What do you got? Is it something about the PGA Tour board that you're sitting on now? Is it something about the new TGL league that you're going to be? Is it something about, are you going to play in the Hero? Just
anything.
Speak to us, man.
Are you going to play in the Masters?
I know.
So apparently he's been hitting balls. We've talked about that. Talked about it last week. I did have a video that I saw, and I was a little kind of cringeworthy how he's just walking down steps. Now, the Masters is not until April.
Right.
But he's going to have to prepare. He's going to have to do a lot of different things just to compete for the 4 days, hopefully 4 days, and makes the cut like he did last year. But just seeing him walk, and it just looked like he was favoring his leg a lot. It makes you wonder, man, what are the chances that he gets back out and just plays? It's a tough answer. I know. It's tough.
The only thing going, it reminds me of what Julie Inkster said last week. I don't put anything by this guy.
Everybody says that.
This guy, I gave up on him when I watched him with the chipping yips and all of that, and then they're like, well, we're going to have the 4th or 5th back surgery and we're going to fuse. I'm like, Danny, back fusion is a career ender for a tour player.
And he comes had back surgery.
I have. He comes back with speed, with power, wins the Tour Championship, wins the Zozo, and wins the Masters in 2019. Ridiculous. Stupid. I mean, so all bets are off.
I'm with you. I wish the field was better.
Yeah.
So it does beg the question, what can you do, if anything, if you're, let's just use this example, Worldwide Technology this weekend, they're the big main sponsor, the brand of this tournament. Can they go to the commissioner and say, look, we've got to have X amount of guys that are top 50, top 25, top 10, whatever the case may be? Or is it something where that sponsor has to dig deep in the pockets and say, man, we really want Jay Delsing there. He's a hell of a player. He's top 20.
Here's my number.
I'm
right there.
All of a sudden, Jay makes a remarkable comeback to the PGA Tour. But could they do something like that to get guys there?
Not really. Especially right now. There's way, way too much going on in the background. But here's how to do it. Put on a kick-ass event like we know Matt and Jim are doing down there. Sprinkle in a little TW, which is always magic tonic. And then, slowly raise the purse up a little bit. Danny.
It's come down to the purse, doesn't it?
It does.
Ultimately.
But also, you put on a course that's super fun to play, like Tigers is supposed to be. It's supposed to be very forgiving off the tee, very demanding on the second shots and things like that. A little bit of Jack Nicklaus probably. But you put it in a phenomenal venue like Cabo. Who the hell?
You love going there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You and I will leave this after.
It'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it be awesome to go there? So we go to Cabo. It's beautiful. And then you put on a party like, and I don't mean like a let's get crazy party, but you put on a party that they're entertaining all of their customers. Matt and these guys at Worldwide, they got this thing down like a well-oiled machine. They do all sorts of world-class entertaining, like, as
sure.
they would, and the players will start paying attention.
100%.
They really will. It's a small fraternity, Danny, and when good things go out like that, it runs through there. Same way if it goes bad. You screw something up, something would happen, that would be, not great, and it runs through that thing just the same way.
When these guys design their own courses, you always hear, well, the signature of the Nicklaus course is X. The signature of that course is X. So Tiger has now designed a bunch of different courses. What is it about his name on a course and what he wants to bring into the golf course for the golfer that separates him from maybe somebody else?
I think he's going to be very generous off the tee because he wasn't a great driver. This is how this is broken down, Danny, in the past. And so I haven't played any of Tiger's designs. I think he's only got 3 right now that are in operation.
Right.
Blue Jack National.
He's got a bunch that are in progress.
Absolutely.
To be, that are middle being built.
We got Paynes Valley down in Springfield, and now we've got Le Cardinal down in Cabo. And I do know, I even though I haven't played Paynes Valley, I feel like I have because I've seen so many pictures. I've gone through a lot of stuff with some customers and things down there. It's extremely forgiving off the tee, very wide, which is more of a resort-type feel, Danny, so that the average player doesn't have to worry about spraying his tee shots. The one thing that slows play down more than anything is narrow off the tee. And Jack, I'm sure Tiger's going to be generous off the tee. Now, Tiger was supreme at his iron shots, especially long iron shots, 3, 4, 5, 6 irons. So I'm sure there's going to be long par threes, things that, Tiger could take in stride and go, 225 yards, no problem at all.
Big
it's
deal.
A little bitty 6 iron for me.
Unbelievable.
I know. And then you'll see some protection around the greens. Tiger had and still probably does have the most brilliant short game. So I'm sure if you start missing in certain places, Danny, bring it. Bring your lunch pail. it's going to be difficult.
Now, we love to go through news and notes throughout the show. Later in the show, we're going to break down Live, done with year number 2,
Yep.
the good, the bad, what the future may hold. We'll do a complete breakdown of that. Matt Horner, our guest, as well, coming up. Tim Peel, too. You were just talking about the Masters. So 10-time LPGA major champion has become the latest female member at Augusta National. And the first woman was admitted back in 2012, and that is one Annika Sorenstam.
Yep, and I've reached out to Annika. I know her husband, Mike McGee, really well. He said she'd come on the show. He said, don't mention podcasts. She doesn't like podcasts. Let's just tell her you have a radio show. And I said,
I've had other people tell me, too. I don't get it.
What's wrong with the pod? Anyway, whatever she wants, but she said she'd come on. And I mean, why would you not want Annika anywhere that you want to show up?
Absolutely.
Danny, she revolutionized the women's game. I mean, she took it to an entirely different level.
She was a first-time starter during the inaugural Augusta National Women's Amateur in 2009, which has been added to what we see at the Masters, and I love it. I think it's great.
Absolutely. You have to drive, chip, and putt down there now, Danny, which is super cool for the youngsters, and then you've got the women's amateur, and hats off to Augusta. Listen, they might be a little slow to the take on some of this stuff, but they're so influential. When they start getting behind stuff, Danny, stuff can start happening, and it needs to. It's time. Let's go.
I couldn't wait to get your thoughts on this. The Masters and the Open Championship said last week they downplayed the suggestion that they will carve out automatic major exemptions for LIV players next year.
Right.
That's kind of the direction we thought they'd go, so it's still unsettled at this time.
Listen, the Open Championship is the most open for a reason. You get out there, send your $150 in, and get your butt in the qualifier.
Right, go qualify.
Go ahead and qualify. Listen, and anybody can do it. You get out there, so you know they don't. Here's what they want. I mean, they want automatic fill. Like I'm Dustin Johnson. I've won 2 majors, and I'm 350th in the world ranking, and they're gonna go. I want a spot. Well, there's no way they can start that precedent, Danny. They just won't do that. I mean, they have granted special exemptions from time to time, but it's been one, and it's been a one-off, and it's been to a Tom Watson and they're not. There is no. I mean, it's almost farcical that they were thinking that it's like they're just trying to. They're not thinking.
Well, think about this. LIV, as we talked about, you just mentioned it, not included in the World Golf Rankings. So they've announced a promotions tournament, if you will, 72-hole event with cuts. So that's something they did not have the last couple of years. And for the better part of what they've done for 2 years, invitation only.
Right. Yep.
So now they're saying, okay, if you're not going to give us World Golf Rankings, we're going to make this a little bit more competitive with the cuts. I don't know if that makes a difference, though. We'll see.
It doesn't, because that's just to get people onto the tour. They're not changing their format, D. So here's the biggest issue. There's no clear-cut way to get little Joey from Brazil or from wherever.
St. Louis, it doesn't matter.
On that tour. Someone would say, Dad, man, this LIV event was super cool. How do I get on? I don't know, son. You have to be related to the Saudis. You got to, be a cousin to some-in-law, somebody. I mean, and that's the baloney about the LIV. And they know that, though, Danny. There's been criteria that has been set aside for years on how to get world golf ranking points. A lot of times a tour would come along and they would put a 12 to 18 month time period on it just to see if the tour would stay in business.
It's incredible.
It is. And so this is not, it's just because Greg Norman wants what he wants. It doesn't care about everything else. And is this unique and new? Absolutely. Does this mean they should get world golf ranking points right away? No. Let's get your you-know-what together and get more organized, and let's figure out more of a business model here.
Now, if anybody's lucky that's listening out there, you played a golf round with Jay Delsing. Jay is confident. Let's just say that. Confident in his ability and probably in your ability, but really you shouldn't be confident in my ability or anybody else's, but you are. You're so confident in everybody else's ability, which I love. Okay, and I appreciate.
Okay, where are we going? There's a parachute that's going to be pulled here.
Listen to what I'm saying, because you're going to love this.
All right.
According to Victor Hovland, he did a recent interview, and I think it was on a podcast.
Not a radio show.
Right. He said he could potentially be looked at as the world's number one. He said that about himself. The world golf rankings have Scotty Scheffler, number one, Jon Rahm, 2, Rory, number 3, Hovland, number 4. Hovland, you may recall, won 3 times, 61 at the BMW. And he says, hey, don't forget about me. I should be the number one. I'm paraphrasing again what he said.
Yeah.
But you love to hear that kind of stuff, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I do, because, Danny, we have to believe in ourselves, man. It's an island out there. It is. I mean, as many times, even at the Ascension, that last day I lose the ball in the second hole, I don't want to play anymore.
You wanted to crawl into a hole.
I'm like, come on, man.
That shocked me when you said that to me after that. Because I played so much golf with you this summer, and you're like, I don't care. I don't care if it's over there and I got to stand in 2 feet of grass. Yep. I'm making birdie.
I was 4 over after 2 holes, and I'm losing balls. I'm like, this stuff doesn't happen, But
so take it back right now. I don't. You need to take that back.
I'm glad I shot. What did I shoot? 80 the last day or 79 the last day, and finished where I did. No, but for Victor Hovland, I mean, look at, you've got your opinion, and that's. I mean, there's a lot of guys that think they're the best player in the world. I guarantee you, Brooks Koepka doesn't think anybody can beat him.
Probably a majority of those guys at that level feel that way.
But then you also have to sprinkle in some facts. And you also have to sprinkle in the fact that we have an official golf rating system. It's far from perfect, but it's what we have. And so that is the criteria. And what'll happen for Victor is that as the years go, as we start the new year, part of the old tournaments lop off, and the more recent tournaments get weighted a little more, and then they get replaced by your continued play. If he goes out and starts the year like a house of fire, he's going to rocket straight up the rankings. But Scotty Scheffler, and we know Rombo will have something to be said about that.
So consistent, man. Tough to move him.
Look what Rahm did last year, Dave. I mean, for how long? That man went out and won 4 tournaments. Wasn't Augusta his 4th win?
Yes, that was number 4.
Of the year.
Now, he kind of cooled off, if you want to call it cooling off, along with Scheffler at the end. I say cooling off, a lot of T5s and T10s and T15s.
Sorry for the tie 12 from Scotty Scheffler.
And then people ask, like myself, an idiot, and says, what's going on with him? What's wrong with Scotty?
Yeah, I know. You're like, golf's hard. He probably lipped 2 putts out on Sunday and finished 12th instead of 2nd.
Exactly.
But, we love that. I mean, Victor Hovland will be world number one. I really believe it. I think the fact that he was so bad with his short game when he got on the PGA Tour and still won events, Danny, and now he's pitching the ball like a wizard, just like a magician. I mean, he's going to be world number one. He is strong in all aspects.
I know you love to watch him pitch now, and you felt that was really a huge improvement of his game. He said bunker play this summer was the biggest adjustment he made. He said, I used to hate to hit it into the bunkers. And this is a tour player we're talking about, a top 5 guy in the world, and he said, I hated it. I was terrible at it. We wasn't terrible, but he's just really improved.
His standards. Yeah. So, Danny, when I did some research on him, because I was like, ooh, that just doesn't. It almost looked like he said he was seriously uncomfortable, high anxiety, and bad technique. That's an awful combination for a tour player. And I started reading some of the stuff, and he goes, "Yeah, when I pitched the ball, this was 2 years ago. I try to land the ball on the green and keep it on the green." And I'm like, "What? You got to be kidding me!" But he was so. What's interesting is that when he came over from Norway and went to Oklahoma State down in Stillwater, he must have been so bad at this, but his hitting and his putting were so superior that it carried the day for him.
Makes sense.
Oh.
Just to hear a guy that's top 4 in the world saying my bunker play was terrible, where a lot of guys are saying, boy, I hope it's in the bunker.
Oh, 100%. I mean, to this day, I feel like you could put me in a bunker anywhere on the PGA Tour, and I'm getting it up and down. Now, and I'm 63. I'm 100 years old.
Okay, I got a final thought here in our first segment.
All right.
Jon Rahm love this podcast. Again, it was seriously a podcast that I saw this on, and he was being asked just very generic questions, and I loved. And he was so good in the interview. And he said, was asked, he said, "What's the number one advice that you give to amateurs?" And this is to John Rahm. He said, "Oh, this is simple." He said, "You really want to ask me this question? This is the easiest question I've ever been asked." He said, "So the best advice I can give to an amateur, club up." He said, club up. That's it. He goes, "I don't need to expound on this at all. Club up." He said, "I play with these guys, and they come out, and gals, and they look at me hit, and they think, well, I can maybe, hit close to what I'm." He said, "What is wrong with you? You're not going to be able to get near me. So club up when you're an amateur."
I was just meeting with my buddy who I've given a couple lessons to, Robert Tynes. And I'm helping him with this game. And Danny, it's the first thing I told him today is that you have to hit more club. And what I told you in our pro-ams, you actually even did it. I said, whatever the yardage is on our gun says 150 yards, tell our team 160.
And that's what I started doing. Do you remember a couple of times the reactions were, "Jay, I don't know why. I mean, you gave me this quick lesson. I'm hitting the ball so much better." Like, yeah, well, it's 10 yards.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, because there's so much pressure on you to hit, like, okay, that one swing, I can hit my 7-iron and flush it, and it goes 150 yards. So you're going over there. It's a 1 in 20 shot or something for you. And now you've got that much pressure on you to, no.
Yeah.
No way. Go to the 6. If you flush it, it might go past the pin. It probably won't even go over the green. Danny, I see it all the time. I bet I played in 10,000 pro-ams in my years. And I would say 100 of the amateurs out of those 40,000 players could hit the right club.
Sure.
It's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit of misunderstanding. I mean, think of this, Danny. If you said to the average guy, take one of your buddies, pick one, Johnny Fever, whomever.
Yeah.
And you said, "Johnny, how far do you hit your 8-iron?"
And by the way, for folks listening, that is a friend of mine. His nickname is Johnny Fever. Right, but go right ahead.
So you said, "Johnny, how far do you hit your 8-iron?" He wouldn't know.
Probably not.
No, he'll go somewhere between. And I mean, that's like being a race car driver and not knowing which, is this the gas or this the brake? I mean, knowing how far you hit your clubs, how do you play? How do you play? I mean, no, I get it. Like some days my 8-iron usually goes 145, but if I miss hit it, it only goes 135. I'm not talking about that. On a daily basis, how far do you hit what is the average that not your greatest 8-iron you ever hit that goes 150. What's the average?
Yeah.
And they don't know, Danny, they don't know. And so one of the first things I tell the guys is what we're going to do for your game is figure out how far your clubs go. They're shocked because I would say it's somewhere between 4 and 12 yards shorter per club for everybody that we talk to.
And it makes sense.
It does.
Especially now with the colder weather here in St. Louis.
Oh, and then that's an entirely different situation. Danny, my dad, Jim Delsing, great guy, hell of an athlete. We're playing together, and he's probably in his late 60s. I'm playing on the tour all the time, and we're playing, and I said, "Dad, it's 175 yards." And he's like, "I'm going to hit my 6-iron." I said, "Dad, hit your 5. No, I'm going to hit my 6. 6 is the right club, son." Hits a 6, hits it flush, right on the front edge. Got a 45-footer. I said, "Dad, it's not enough club." Nah, I didn't hit it well. And you're just stubborn like that. And I said, "Chief, you got to hit more club. You just got to club up." And he wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do it.
Nope. He's like, play your own game.
Hey, that's what you're talking about, though. A lot of ego in sports, a lot of ego with those kind of shots.
And it's one of the things that made him good at what he did.
Sure.
He's like, "Hey, I believe in myself. You just play your own game." And I'm like, "I know, Dad, but you're not getting any of the balls to the hole."
We're off and running. It's Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. We're going to tip our cap, and we're going to tip our cap to the corporate support here locally, clearly, and what they're doing nationally, but worldwide technology.
Absolutely. We're tipping our cap to our buddies, Jim Cavanaugh, Matt Horner, and their team here in St. Louis and around the globe for jumping into golf like they have. Man alive. I said to you off air, man, I wish I was 30 years younger. These guys have taken oh my gosh, they've taken the reins here in St. Louis, and they're leading in the community. They're donating their money, they're donating their time, their expertise in so many different ways. Now there's an event on the PGA Tour. They're one of the presenting sponsors for the Ascension Charity Classic. Their hands are in everything in this community, Danny. Not just golf; they're all over the place. They own the raceway across the name. Their name is on the raceway across the river over in Madison, and so it's the Worldwide Technology Speedway, and it just goes on and on. So the tip of the cap, we're tipping it to Worldwide, we're tipping it to Jim and Matt and all of the guys, Dave Stewart, the entire team over there, for being such great corporate citizens. And from our chairs, we love the golf aspect. And I want to thank Colin Burnt at the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. Folks, you need any sort of vehicle, anything car-wise. I know it says Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. I'm driving a Yukon. My daughter Joe's got a VW. Pearlie's got some Toyota truck that Colin's the best. He'll get you anything you need.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Coming up, we'll continue that conversation about the Worldwide Technology Championship down in Mexico. Joining us in studio, should be a fun visit, Matt Horner, Executive VP of Worldwide. That's next. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's greatest names. Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Longer, Justin Leonard, David Toms, and more will compete returning September 3rd through the 8th. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com for information.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. And the reason we have them is because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and very easy. Their customer service is second to none. They provided my daughter with a loaner car when her Passat needed repairs. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester and Kirkwood, you'll become a customer for life because they'll treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on a Sunday morning on 101 ESPN. We're coming to you from the Car Shield Studios and brought to you as always by Daugherty Business Solutions. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And in studio with us is Matt Horner, Executive VP of Worldwide Technology. They are busy this weekend wrapping up Worldwide Technology Championship, formerly known as the Mayakoba Classic. It's held in Mexico. And first of all, Matt, thanks for coming in studio. We appreciate it.
I'm so excited to see the worldwide presence on the PGA Tour, locally supporting the Ascension Charity Classic, and just you guys getting into golf. Tell us a little bit about the golf, and then we also got to talk about St. Andrews. What a cool experience that is.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. And the golf connection is really has a lot to do with just having WWT's brand out in the market. If not nationally, globally. And, we kind of been under the radar, I'd say a decade or so ago. And our business is very much B2B, high-end clientele that we serve and big brand names that we serve. And a lot of that clientele enjoys golf and enjoys the PGA Tour and tournaments like the Masters and so forth. And so it was a natural for us to not only entertain there, but leverage the Golf Channel and other venues like that to get our brand out.
It's now a global brand, but based here in St. Louis. So for somebody listening, they go, Worldwide Technology. I hear that name all over the place. What is Worldwide Technology? What do you do?
It's more than an elevator pitch. It takes a little bit of time, but really I would say an aggregator of all types of technology is necessary to bring business systems, business applications online for companies like JP Morgan Chase or retailers like Walmart. And these systems are very complicated, very expensive, and take a lot of technical skills to actually put them into production. And in our world is stitching all that together with a lot of different technologies and software and doing it in a way that is as efficient, cost-effective, high quality. Usually that work is done on site at different customer sites. Our model is to do it at WWT facilities, work out all the kinks, all the potential dead-on arrivals from an equipment perspective, making sure the quality is where it needs. So when it arrives, it's plug and play for the business versus you're trying to stitch together a lot of Lego pieces that, again, are frustrating for a lot of companies. So our model's a little different, but it's very, very attractive by kind of Fortune 500.
Matt, the story is, the Worldwide Technology story is incredible. Take us back to some of the beginning days, because I know you've been around a long time, and there's been some fun stories about I remember Jim Cavanaugh talking about a trip, I don't know if you guys made in a U-Haul somewhere, dropping off some computers, and you were the driver in one meeting, and the next meeting you were the salesperson.
That was Jim Cavanaugh and Joe Koenig, our president. And yes, there's some funny history of how all this got started. And it really was a startup, literally, and very difficult times early on, and just kind of grinded it out. But Jim and Joe made a delivery up to one of our our government customers, and they actually drove a U-Haul truck with the technology equipment. And then in the back of the U-Haul, when they arrived, they changed into suits and ties and then went and conducted a meeting and delivered the equipment. But, it's a little bit of just do whatever it takes to make the business run. And that's been our really mindset from day one.
And also a mindset to stay local too. Global brand, but decided to stay in St. Louis. I'm sure you get overtures all over the place to move the company, whatever the case may be, but you've decided to stay here in St. Louis.
Absolutely. I mean, we all grew up here, and we've had the experiences of great brands being in St. Louis, and we wanted to protect the community and the community's interests and be a rich part of the St. Louis fabric. And, you see that with Jim and what he's done with the MLS and what we're doing with St. Louis City now. So, it's same with the Enterprise team, his partnership there. But our roots are here, and we want this community to flourish, and it's very important that we invest in the community.
It's so nice to see, too. I mean, as some brands come and go, to see someone that, like you guys said, have grown up here, that you understand St. Louis, because it's kind of a tricky place, and to see the worldwide flag fly all over the place is really fun.
Yeah, well, what's most fun is me traveling all over the globe and then sharing the St. Louis kind of community to the world, whether I go to London or over to Asia or other parts of the U.S. And they're really fascinated by this $20 billion global technology company resides right here in St. Louis. And then we also, do a lot to incentivize our customers to come visit St. Louis and host them at our campus out of Westport and show them our labs, which are, an ecosystem of, really a Disney World of technology that is really like no other has to offer. So we do have a lot of different customers that are from different cities around the world that come into St. Louis and, show off what we have in our community here.
Matt Horner from Worldwide Technology is our guest. Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. You guys are busy this weekend down in Mexico.
Yes, very busy. We moved our location from the part of Cancun area, Mayacoba, to Cabo, and interestingly enough, that move, although was a quick turn for us and just kind of mobilizing a brand new tournament that had been established for 17 years in Mayacoba and Cabo. We were a little nervous about it, but honestly, we've had triple the amount of clients that have committed to come down this week, and I think that has
I don't want to go to Cabo right now. Do you, Danny?
I think that has a lot to do with obviously the familiarity with Cabo and the beauty and the golf courses, and just it's a excellent destination, and we're seeing that now with participation this week.
Matt, from a business standpoint, talk a little bit about how golf works and why you like it.
First, it's the neatest sport in that you play with the professionals that are playing the game. I'm not going to get on a football field with some of these NFL players and say, hey, throw me a pass, take my head off a bit, and don't want to take a 100-mile-an-hour pitch either. But golf is that a phenomenal mix of being able to play with athletes you look up to and enjoy watching, and you can be there right there playing alongside, and it's just a great equalizer. And then it's in usually a beautiful environment, whether it's out on the ocean or in the different woods or cutting through different places that you haven't been before. I mean, just being outside and enjoying it for a few hours or so is just a great atmosphere to be a part of.
So the championship is happening this weekend as we speak. What goes in the preparation on the Worldwide Technology side to try to make sure that this goes off as a premier PGA Tour event?
It's no different, I should say, than running our business. Very, level of discipline and rigor that goes into the preparation for it. Honestly, it's week in and week out, including myself and teams within our marketing and events planning that are constantly curating what the run of show will be, working with the tour and how the players are going to be experiencing the tournament itself, making sure the lodging is all taken care of, making sure that we have our clients that are informed of what they can expect when they arrive, and transportation. So all those logistics are little details that really make a big difference. And honestly, for the worldwide employees that are going to be joining, we view ourselves as almost hospitality agents. We want the players, our customers, our partners that are coming down to have an exceptional experience while they're there. That just strengthens the brand and the relationships we have, and that's what we are all planning for this week to come off as great as it can be.
So, Matt, and that's the pro game. Now let's talk about the amateur game. You guys just had a presence over in St. Andrews, and talk about that experience. That had to be fantastic.
It was. I mean, I've been a spoiled golfer, but I'd never been to St. Andrews, and that was well worth the trip. And we just signed up for a multi-year sponsorship for Golf Channel and St. Andrews, where we'll host 4 NCAA collegiate competitors, and we just 2 weeks ago had UNC, Vanderbilt, Georgetown, Notre Dame. Vanderbilt took home the crown. Really, UNC and Vanderbilt are the 2 top teams in the country. And why? You look at our locations, our WWT brand, our namesake is global. We have a tournament in Mexico. Now we have a tournament in St. Andrews, Scotland. So it kind of plays into that theme of worldwide technology or worldwide. And then we like to foster development in the communities that we have these tournaments, and we do things that we can help contribute back to those communities, whether it's with First Tee in Mexico and what we're doing in Cabo, or there's a big sustainability initiative within St. Andrews that we will participate and help in. And so it's really bringing that whole blend of golf, entertainment, customer engagement, then also giving back to those communities.
And another one was right here in St. Louis, the Ascension Charity Classic, and I know that was fun for you guys.
Yeah, so, the great group of businesses that come together in the St. Louis community and had great weather this year, and it just an excellent, I'd say, showcase for the St. Louis community, bringing in people from out of town. We had a number of clients fly in for that, and again, it's a great opportunity for us to bring them to Worldwide Technologies headquarters, show off our labs and all the things that we have going on, and then enjoy the tournament, Ascension Charity Classic, which was great this year.
Matt, it's one thing to say, hey, this is Worldwide's brand, here's our products. It's another thing to take them to your home. It really is. And in order to do that, I mean, you really got to, I guess the term "it takes a village" takes on a whole new meaning now when you do stuff like this.
Yeah, it does. I mean, again, we have to make sure we balance the work we need to get done with our clients and also make it very attractive for them to engage with us, and that's what we can do through golf. And again, we have, just like the Ascension Charity Classic, we have a small form factor where we host clients at Pebble Beach for the AT&T, and we have other things that we'll do at the Masters each year and the U.S. Open. So again, all those are spread throughout the U.S. or the international locations now that we're a part of. It gives us maximum flexibility to address many customer demands.
You got a hell of a job, man.
Hey, man, well, let's get on this. Let's get on this train here. This sounds great.
Has there been one that stands out above the other? And I'm assuming you can't say that one's better than the other, but I'm still going to ask it. Is there one spot that's been really for you on a personal level that stood out?
In St. Andrews, when I went to St. Andrews, Matt, I was like, whoa. It was just, all that history just almost knocked me over. That has definitely jumped to the top of the list. I play a lot in Ireland just for fun, and being able to now be a part of the St. Andrews history and experience it for the first time, it really does kind of blow your mind on the history and just seeing it, that you've seen it many times on TV, and then just playing the holes that you see. It's just, and then the little town is just really charming and fun to be in that area. So were you able to, sorry to interrupt, yeah. Were you able to understand any of the Scots over there? I'm sure you went and had a pint, but you go in there and you're like, every once in a while, Danny, you'll hear a word like bunker, and you're like, I think he said sand trap there, or bunker. Right. It's hard to understand those folks.
I've learned to listen really intently for sure. It's quite fascinating, the English, so to speak, in that part of the world, and how it deviates so quickly, and you really got to pay attention for sure.
Matt, thanks for coming in studio. It's been a great weekend down in Mexico, and thank you for what you're doing in St. Louis too with Worldwide.
Thank you, guys. Great being here.
Maybe we'll have you on and do a little recap of Cabo so you can make everybody jealous.
This.
It'll be another week of cold weather in St. Louis.
Right.
It'll be colder.
Yeah,
People
we're looking forward to a great champion today.
Awesome. Matt Horner from Worldwide Technology, Golf with Jay Delsing, and we're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
I'd like to welcome I Promise to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. What is I Promise, you ask? It's a St. Louis-based company with the most clinically backed eye health performance supplement brand with over 20 years of eye health expertise and nutrition science. It's all natural, and their cutting-edge science and technology has helped I Promise forge many exciting new golf partnerships, like with the PGA of America, the Titleist Performance Institute, the Ledbetter Academy, and many more. Perhaps the most exciting component for me is that all of this new improvement is measurable. I can tell you that in my case, my initial score was around 0.25, and after taking the I Promise product for 2+ months, my score soared to almost 0.60. It had more than doubled. I can now read the greens better because I'm not really dealing with as much glare and trying to manage that, and I squint much less when I'm playing golf. And you don't have to take it from me. Check out what Padraig Harrington has to say about this product. He is playing some of the best golf of his career in his early 50s, and he swears I Promise has helped improve his short game. Check out I Promise. That's I Promise, the company helping us to see better, play better, and live better. Visit them at ipromise.com.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Did you know that Marcone is the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America? That's right, Marcone does that. Did you know that their worldwide headquarters are located right here in St. Louis? Well, if you didn't know that then, you'll know it now, because CEO Jim Sowers is a philanthropic force in our community. Besides the most recent Marcone military and first responders viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, which by the way was a huge hit here and has been copied at other PGA Tour and PGA Tour Champions events, Marcone has purchased and donated many vital service dogs for our wounded military heroes, which help them transition back into society after sustaining catastrophic battlefield injuries. Jim and Marcone also support the Backstoppers, the police, and the firefighters, the local naval organizations, and many, many more. Marcone, the company that calls St. Louis home, that always strives to improve and enhance our community in so many different ways. That's Marcone.
Hey St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or Cards or Blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from, or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
Hi, this is Nick Ragone from the Ascension Charity Classic, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
Wherever you may be, we hope you're enjoying Golf with Jay Delsing on this Sunday morning on 101 ESPN. We're coming to you from the CarShield Studios. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That's Jay Delsing. And what a fun visit that was with Matt Horner. I'm jealous of Matt. I'm just going to put it out there
I'm
right
right
now.
there with you, man.
I'm jealous of Matt having a chance to be a part of what is a great event today down in Mexico. But Worldwide has done so much. And another aspect of this is we're focusing on this tournament with the PGA Tour, but what they've done with PGA Tour champions here in St. Louis and with the Ascension Charity Classic, too.
Oh, absolutely. And you got to remember, D, when Nick Ragone and the Ascension folks approached everybody like Matt and Jim Kavanaugh, it was in the middle of COVID. Excuse me. It was in the middle of COVID. I mean, these guys, talking about having a little foresight and a little bit of vision, I mean, man, that's impressive. And also, we can't forget about what they just did it's been almost 2 weeks ago now in St. Andrews with the college teams and all that. I mean, Matt says he's over in St. Andrews. I want to whack him with my microphone. I'm like, man,
how cool is that?
It's so cool.
That event is really neat and probably does not get enough attention as to what they're doing for the amateur players and the top college players that soon, many of them, will be on the PGA Tour.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant, especially, listen, when you're a college player and you get to go play at St. Andrews under the Worldwide Technology umbrella, dude, you're bucking. You are aiming for that. You want your team. You want to be part of that. And then some sort of natural progression. There's no telling what may come out of that.
That's
thing,
right,
Danny. These guys, you do well and handle yourself like a young man or young woman would that Worldwide would like. There's no, I mean, you know this guy, Matt. He's going to go over and he might sign you to some sort of NIL deal. There's no telling what these guys might do.
That is the beauty of golf. We talk about it all the time, but how it wraps in people from all walks of life and then brings them into business that you would never, ever otherwise anticipate. And something like that happens, and all of a sudden it's a lifelong relationship business-wise that you have with these folks.
Danny, it's a uniter. I mean, we were talking to Matt about what he's doing down there. They're entertaining. He said he's bringing, I don't know how many of his team down there, and they're basically just concierge for their guests.
Right.
I mean, tell me that if that doesn't get your attention. I mean, if you're coming in on to play in a Pro-Am on the PGA Tour, and you're greeted by the Worldwide Technology, the host, and they're like, how's your hotel room? Would you like this, that, the other? I mean, that's taking it to the next level.
So our thanks to Matt Horner for stopping by. Again, Matt, the Executive VP of Worldwide Technology. Also coming up, we're going to visit with Tim Peel, longtime NHL referee, calls St. Louis home, loves the game of golf, so he'll stop by in studio, and we appreciate that. That's later in the show. I did have one thing I wanted to throw at you. A sinkhole has led to a crazy discovery. The Cathedral of Nature. This is something else. Did you read about this?
Yeah, it's happened right here in Springfield, Missouri, and our buddy Johnny. We've talked about how
Johnny Morris.
We've talked about how beneficial having the great Ozzie Smith love golf, love the community, and do the amazing things he's doing with PGA Reach and the inner city kids and just everything in golf. It's just a huge get for golf, right? How about having Johnny Morris switch from, and he still does his Bass Pro Shops, he still loves the fish, and he supports all that, but having him getting involved in golf. So Johnny's got the Top of the Rock and this beautiful properties down in Springfield. And Danny, one of the holes on Top of the Rock, I can't remember what hole it was, a massive sinkhole. So basically the ground opens up, folks, and swallows one of the greens, a couple of bunkers, and it's like a massive cave underneath the surface, right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
And so they said in the article, you had two things to do. We can fill this thing in and rebuild, or we can dig down and try and figure out what's down there. What does Johnny Morris do?
Oh, he's going to dig.
Oh, he's digging.
He's digging.
He's digging.
He's digging for that goal, baby.
He's digging and finds this thing, and they said it's hundreds of thousands of years old, and it's like one of a kind, an archaeological
and by
discovery.
the way, I don't blame him for doing what he did. I think that's awesome.
Oh, same. Yeah.
So you never know what golf's going to bring you, Jay.
How about that?
You get into a sinkhole that you just don't know.
But I've been in a sinkhole in my career for years. Like, how do I get out of this thing?
It's amazing.
I didn't see any cathedral down in the bottom of my sinkhole either.
That's why you're doing golf with Jay Delsing on a Sunday morning.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Hey, how about I get a lot of emails, and I know you do too, and you can email us, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. But a lot of people asking me about it. I don't know the final days or weeks that this is going to happen or when it's open. I think we're in the final days, or maybe it's just gone by. I bet you would know, though, Normandy. And what's happened, like what's the latest with it? And if we don't know the exact date, but what is happening at Normandy? Yeah,
well, the great Jack Nicklaus, and through the works of Tom O'Toole and some of the other folks, I know that having Jack in town for the Ascension Charity Classic, when Nick and those guys and Steve Spratt had Jack in town, they took him by Normandy, and Jack has agreed to waive his design fees and redo Normandy.
What would his design fee go for, you think? If you had to take a guess.
Probably $3 million, I think, Dave.
That's, yeah. I was going to say 3 to 5. Yeah,
amazing. And so we are right. So towards the end of the golf year, there was a date set aside that we were going to start the actual reconstruction or construction, depending on how you look at it. There's been a lot of clearing going on. I've been by the Normandy property. It's essential for the North County area to keep this a golf course. And so we are any day now from when they're going to start breaking ground, pushing dirt, moving stuff to start this whole project. And we've raised money. We've raised a lot of money. We're more than halfway there with the raise. And so what's really neat about this, D, is the first tee is going to come there when this is completed and do a bunch of their programming. There's going to be special rates involved for the local folks at Normandy that can get on. The kids, I think kids are part of the endowment that no kid's ever going to get turned away to play golf there.
That's great.
Yeah, and so it's, I mean, this is one of those things. It's a true feather in everybody's cap for North County and for golf in general. And then to have a Jack Nicklaus signature golf course come right down in the city and be one. What is Normandy? Normandy's the oldest. I think it's the oldest public golf course west of the Mississippi.
It is, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So huge get for us.
Absolutely. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Again, if you'd like to email Jay and email us at the show, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. We're coming to you from the CarShield Studios. We're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. And up next, we switch gears a little bit. We'll talk golf and hockey. Tim Peel will be our guest.
Powers Insurance and Risk Management is a family-owned local business that's been helping our community for over 200 years. In the always confusing world of insurance, Powers Insurance provides clarity, exceptional service, and the latest in cutting-edge products to deliver the highest quality in property and casualty coverage, as well as strategic planning consultation services. Powers Insurance and Risk Management will partner with you. That's right, partner with you to customize the right coverage for you and your family. Tim Davis, the Chief Operations Officer, will personally sit down and talk you through the ins and outs of your policies. They are experts at helping you control your workplace expenses and helping to guarantee the safety of you and your employees and their needs. You can visit them at powersinsurance.com. That's powersinsurance.com for all of your insurance needs.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make, and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Redbird Heating and Cooling sponsors the Veterans Vocational Apprenticeship Program. Jed, the CEO and former Marine, will teach, mentor, and sign off on educational and mechanical work hours to help you get fully licensed while you work and get paid by the company. What a great way to launch your career as a fully licensed HVAC specialist. Visit redbirdhvac.com. That's Redbird Heating and Cooling.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing, and we golfers are always looking for ways to improve our games. For me, that means I want the very best and the very latest in equipment and in technology. The place for me is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened Pro-Am Golf Center in 1975, and ever since then, he and his family have provided St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and the latest in the ever-changing world of golf technology. Whether you are a scratch golfer looking to find the latest in rangefinders or a newcomer looking to find your first set of clubs, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. You say you're looking to get yourself custom fitted for a new set of clubs? You need to call TJ. He has fit me personally, and he is the best in town. If you mention my name, CJ will take 50% off the already low fitting price. So if you need anything from golf balls to a new pair of shoes or a lesson from Tom, who, by the way, has been helping St. Louisans play better golf for over 45 years, Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood is the place for you. You can also visit them at proamusa.com. That's Pro-Am Golf.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return.
Hey, Delsing here, and my show Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions, is heard every Sunday morning right here on 101 ESPN from 8 to 10. It's the biggest names in golf, tips for your game, and much more. That's Golf with Jay Delsing on 101 ESPN.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. We're halfway home, and it's time to make the turn. Let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing on a Sunday morning on 101 ESPN as we come to you from the Car Shield Studios. As always, brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And truly our pleasure in studio to welcome in one of the great refs that ever was a part of the NHL, St. Louis native now. I'm going to say native, but that's Tim Peel. Hey, Timmy, good to see you.
Thanks for having me in, guys. I appreciate it.
Now, it's a golf show, but we get to talk a little hockey. Is that all right?
Absolutely. We can talk golf, hockey. They actually go together, so it's perfect.
You love the game of golf.
I do. If you'd like to know how I got started, I'm Jay and I don't know if we're the same age, but I'm older than you, Danny. I'm 57. So back in 1970,
How come I'm always the oldest guy in every room I go into now? It sucks, man.
1979. I'm 13 years old, and I think I've told you this story before, Dan. But I lived in this trailer park in New Brunswick, Canada, on the east coast of Canada. We didn't have any money, and we lived by this country club. And obviously, being living in the trailer park, we weren't members of this country club. So it was one summer day. Of course, being a teenager, I'm bored. Mom and Dad were like, "Why don't you go over to the golf course? There's a tournament going on over there. Try to get a caddying job." So I go over. The assistant pro, who turned out to be the pro's son, but I didn't know this at the time, said, "Oh, I'm sorry, young man, but everybody's already teed off." So I go upstairs to the patio. I'm watching the last couple groups tee off, and he says, he comes up about a half an hour later. He goes, "Would you like to caddy this afternoon at 1 o'clock? I go, "I'd love to." And he goes, "Okay, you're going to caddy for the pro." So I show back up, and I had never caddied before, and the pro's name was John Gaudette. John and I became friends for 30 years after this. And so I caddy for John, and we kind of hit it off, and I didn't know much about golf, but at the end of the round, this is 1979, he peels off a $100 bill.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good now for a caddy, right?
Right, let's do it.
And he peels off 100. He goes, I want you back here next Thursday. Well, I then became I wasn't even a member at the club, but he would get me just to caddy for him. And so I caddied for him the whole summer. The next spring rolled around. He goes, I want you to work in the back shop cleaning clubs. Still want you to caddy for me. He'd take me around to different tournaments in the Maritimes, and it was $100 bill. So I started out cleaning clubs. Then I get the big promotion, up to the pro shop. I'm all excited. Now I can dress nice. And mom and dad would have to come over to him in the summertime and say, John, you got to tell Tim we're going on vacation. He doesn't want to go. I would spend all day there. I'd show up at 7 and stay until 7, 8 o'clock at night. And one of the guys that worked in the pro shop with me was a guy by the name of Darren Ritchie. He eventually became the Canadian amateur champion. And he's 13, 14, and, we're 15, 16 as we'd worked there I worked in the pro shop for 4, 5, 6 years. And at the end, when we'd close the pro shop up at night, him and I would go grab 2 carts and we'd play cross country golf, 1 over to 6.
So much fun.
It was the best.
Yeah.
And one night we were going too fast and we put a cart in a pond and we had to get that. But, and then, I was a decent golfer back then. I think I was a 7 handicap, but this guy, we played all the time. He eventually became the Canadian champion.
Danny, and Peelsley, this is so cool because this is so similar to the way that I grew up. I didn't have that kind of regular caddy gig, but man, I wanted it. And Danny, you did the same thing down at Tower T.
Oh yeah,
we were. The promotion for me, Peelsley, was getting to work in the back room at Norwood for $3.14 an hour. I figured it was there. Now, when I was making that on a regular basis, it was over.
You know what I took pride in is the club we were a member at. Back then it wasn't automated now with 4 tees and all that, and we had this big long driveway heading up to the golf course, and I would see a car come up, and I knew every member's cars. Oh, there's Mr. and Mrs. Brooks coming, and I'd run to the back shop and I'd get their clubs and I'd put them on the cart, and it at the end of the year they'd all come up. Here's an envelope. Here's an envelope. But I would love my son Bronson to eventually work at a golf club when he's a little older, because what it did was I dealt with old women, I dealt with old men, I dealt with young people, I dealt with middle-aged. It gave you that confidence to be able to talk to people of all ages and to interact with people that obviously now we see it with kids and social media. They don't know how to interact. But back then, for me, it was so good for me.
100%. Think about this. When you're how old were you 16 when you started caddying? 13. Same with me. And think about the conversations you were privy to as a 13-year-old young man going out with your head pro or whomever. Yeah. My head was on a swivel. I couldn't believe some of the conversations, and I had obviously wouldn't say a word, but I took in every single thing that was said.
You know what? I think you guys know Mike Murphy, the chiropractor, good golfer.
Jay knows him very well.
And Mike.
Not by being friends. Jay needed his back redone.
Murph is my best friend.
Well, Murph is considered one of the best green readers at Meadowbrook. And a couple summers ago, Andy Goldenberg and these different guys.
And you remember it? Meadowbrook.
Goldie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Goldie and Chris Nagel and all the boys over there. Yeah.
And they're like, Peelsley, I think you might be better than Murph now. But I don't know whether. But the point was, caddying taught me how to read greens.
Yeah.
It taught me how to read greens because that's obviously what I had to do. And
Danny, one of the things
I take pride in it.
We talk about all the time, Peelsley, back in the old days, because we walked. We walked every single round. We walked. Danny and I talk about this all the time. We go over to Norwood or Bellerive, wherever the hell we're playing, and nobody fixes any of their pitch marks. Nobody
drives me crazy.
And one of the things that we talk about is that everybody, when you were a caddy, you always entered the green walking straight up the front or somewhere towards the front right or front left, and you were always fixing, your ball marks on the front edge of the green. And what's happened with the whole cart program now is everybody parks their cart either to the side or behind the green, and they completely forget about their ball mark. And it is industry wide. I mean, you go to Wingfoot, and it's the same thing. The front edge of the green has I mean, how many? Where were we? Where we both noted we're like, man, nobody's fixed a ball mark here in a month and a half.
It was Norwood, but Norwood keeps their greens in such great shape. They were rolling at a 13 last week, so
man,
they keep that in such great shape for the Ascension. I don't think it matters where you go and play. Yeah. It's commonplace across the board in golf.
You know what, Jay? Until I heard that analogy and description, I never thought of it that way. But you're right. We all park at the back of the greens or to the side, and you're right. When you walk up the middle, you fix your ball mark, and you fix a couple others if they got missed. And I know it's a pet
now
peeve.
You go to your ball, and you're like, let's go.
It's a pet peeve everywhere right now. I hate it, but
it is what it is. Tim Peel is our guest. Over 1,300 games in the National Hockey League. I said St. Louis native. You're not, because I said that because you've called St. Louis home. But
we've adopted him, Danny. We've adopted him 100%. We love this guy.
You're from Canada. Where are you from?
New Brunswick, Canada, East Coast.
And maybe people would be surprised by this, but I love this story. As you talked about your childhood, but you're adopted.
Yeah.
And so your parents, though, helped you get involved in the game of golf.
Yeah, they did. First of all, 22 years I've been here now. I moved here in 2001, and this is my hometown now. When people ask me where I'm from St. Louis, and it was the best move I ever made. I met my wife here and many, many good friends, and would never move. Even after I retired, people are like, "Are you going to go back to Canada?" I'm like, "Not a chance." So yeah, as a young age, we didn't have a lot of money, but my parents got me into golf, and obviously, as we touched on my caddying story, that's how I initially got into it and fell in love with the game. And my son Bronson plays with me now, and I know, Danny, you've played with your kids, and your kids are excellent golfers. It's such a great game. My wife comes out, and we do family golf together, and it's just it's a way to. There aren't a lot of sports that you can play with your kids once you get older, and golf's one of those that can
even when you're younger, though, Peelsy, because the games, the way that the handicap system and the teeing grounds at the different levels, it's a uniter, for lack of a better word. It's just hard to go play basketball with your son when he's 8 and you're a grown man. I mean, it's you have fun and you shoot and you can learn to dribble and things like that, but it's not like golf.
No, you're right. Like some of my best buddies at Meadowbrook are in their mid-70s, and I don't care what tee they play with, and we go in and have a few beers after, and it's the camaraderie of the guys, and you couldn't do that in a lot of other sports.
How about up in Canada? How often can you play in Canada? Like, how many months do you get?
Where I grew up, it was May, June, July, August, and a bit of September.
And that's it.
Like I looked in Calgary on the Blues were playing there on Thursday, I think, and it was snowing in Calgary. It's snowing in Canada now. So the winters are long and the golf season's short.
What do you do then? Are you guys indoors? Now it's TrackMan, those kind of things. But back in the day, what were you doing?
Back then, you didn't have TrackMans. You moved on to different sports.
You're putting on the skates.
Yeah, you're putting on the skates. Golf wasn't year round like it is here.
Timmy, we talk about this all the time. Danny, almost to a T, all the great guests that we've had on this show have said the same thing, that when they were growing up and the weather changed, the leaves started falling, the golf clubs got put away, and out came the soccer ball, the football, the hockey sticks, the whole thing. And it was better for my golf game.
Right.
It absolutely was better for my golf game.
You were able to get away from it for a while, right? Now you've got which is great for guys that are really enthusiastic about their golf swing and golf game. We've got so many golf centers around St. Louis where you can go work on your game throughout the winter, but I'm not one of those guys. I love the game, but kind of when the season's over, like if I'll sneak out a couple times during the fall and play here and there to get out with the guys, but I'm not really going to work on my swing during the winter a whole lot.
You love the game of hockey. Did you intend on playing hockey as a player to get to the NHL, or did you always want to be a ref?
No, I did. That's a great question. That's how I got into refereeing was because of golf, because that summer that I first started caddying, when the wintertime rolled around, I missed having the spending money. And Mom and Dad, we lived in a town of 1,500 people, one rink, no traffic lights. That's where everybody hung out, was at the hockey rink. And so that when that hockey season rolled around, I missed having the spending money, and Mom and Dad were like, why don't you ref the little kids? I was 13 at the time, so started reffing the 6U, 8U, 10U, and that's how I got into refereeing, because I missed having the spending money from caddying.
Timmy, talk a little bit about early hockey. I mean, Bernie Federko and some of the you Canadians are some of my favorite people in the whole world.
You people are all right.
So down to earth. I don't know.
Got Don Cherry into trouble.
Didn't exactly come out the way I intended, but they're generally such hearty, fun-loving, family-oriented people and stuff. Talk a little bit about. I mean, Bernie's told me that at 1.5 or 2 years old, you guys had skates on and were pushing around a chair and on the ice, and by the time you're 3 or 4, you guys were pretty damn good skaters.
Yeah, it sounds hokey when you hear guys my age and Bernie's age and so on talk about our childhood, but it is reality and what we grew up in. Because like Dan was just asking me about how long the golf season was, because the winter times are so long there. We had the trailer park we lived in was right beside the golf course. We would go over to number 12. It was a par 5, and we trounce through the woods with a couple old nets and some pucks, and we'd scrape off the snow on number 12 pond, and we'd skate there all day.
I love
that. Is so cool.
All day until it was time to get home for dinner, or we lost pucks in the snow. And that was the way. You didn't know any better back then. Like people, my wife, she's from here, and she's like, how do people live up there? It's so cold. I go, because you don't know any different.
Right.
The first time I was on an airplane, I was there in my early 20s. I get a kick out of, I'm already booking spring break for my kids to go to Mexico in March. I never went to Mexico. We didn't have any of that growing up.
Exactly.
Like it was year-round, in the wintertime, outdoors, playing in the snow, playing on the ponds. That's just what was normal to you.
Who's your favorite golfer to watch? Who do you love watching right now? Mike Weir has got to be up there, Canadian boy.
He used to be, when Mike was in his prime.
And Weir's, he just got named the President's Cup captain for 2020.
I saw that.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, a tournament I caddied in when the year Darren Ritchie won the Canadian Amateur. Mike Weir was an amateur back then, and he was playing in that same tournament. Who do I like to watch now? I don't have any.
You just like the game.
Yeah. I am such a huge
Chris Nagel.
I am such a huge Tiger fan.
Everybody.
Oh, man, you got a lot of room in this.
It's so funny. Like, I'll be sitting around Meadowbrook and some of these guys, some people don't like Tiger. I go, because they're jealous. Like, it's like, and we've all seen it. That, when you're at the top, people want to knock you off, and people want to be negative about a lot of different things. And I just don't know, when you guys saw it when he came here for the PGA, it was just so exciting to be around him and the energy that he brought.
It was just absolutely amazing. And I mean, it was his coming out party. We've talked about it on the show before. He was like telling the other guys on tour, hey, I'm not finished quite yet, and he went on to get the Masters the next year and the Tour Championship and all those other things. It's really awesome.
He gave St. Louis a lot of love after that tournament too.
And we want him to come to the Ascension. That's the next one.
Oh, my hell, exactly. And Danny and I talk about this all the time, Peelsley. Most people think Tiger won the 2018 PGA Championship because he did so well and finished second, but Koepka's the man.
Nobody was even following Koepka.
I know.
That was unbelievable.
How about now? You're doing a podcast with Jeremy Roenick. So how did you guys get hooked up with this, and what's it called?
So it's called Snipes and Stripes. Snipes because JR sniped a lot of goals, and then obviously Stripes because of the ref jersey. I really wasn't friends with JR when I refereed him. He was, if you ever watch any old JR clips, this guy was a warrior, man. We were talking about it on our show the other day. He knocked out Mike Modano. He's playing for Arizona. He's friends with Big Walt. They played together in Arizona. That was
fans that don't know, Keith Tkachuk.
That was back then when the Phoenix Coyotes had Dougie Waite, Keith Tkachuk, Happy Boolin was in net, Dally Drake. Like, they had a really good team. They were going to the conference finals and so on. And we were telling the story the other day. He knocks out Mike Modano in games 3 or 4. Next night they're playing, and we were showing it on our show. Big Darian Hatcher just comes in from the blue line, jumps, and he's already 6'4", and he hits Roenick in the head, breaks his jaw in 4 places. he obviously leaves the game, misses one game, and then comes back to play in the next game with a.
He looked like a linebacker
remember
or
that-
something.
that-
I
you
do
remember that
remember
white-
seeing him.
that
I'm
white
like,
thing. That,
yep.
And it's like. These guys were different animals back
Oh, yeah.
then. And the funny thing was, before he got his nose broken because jaw broken because everyone wanted to kill him from Dallas, as he's going behind the net, Zuboff slashes him, breaks his thumb in half, and then Hatcher comes in. No. Seriously, you can't even make. And this guy then came back and played. So we became friends through Keith Tkachuk. And I love JR and his personality, and he's been controversial as I have been. And we just talked about a year ago, and we're like, let's do it, and we're having fun at it, and it's doing very well on Apple and Spotify and these different platforms. So it's fun.
Awesome.
Tim, your career over 1,300 games, as Danny mentioned. When you're playing in the NHL, if you get to that 1,000-game mile, that's a massive feather in the cap. How does that work for referees and in your world?
The exact same. It's a great question, Jay. The same thing for officials. So my 1,000th game, they schedule it. We look at the beginning of the year and say, okay, Tim's going to work 1,000 games in November. Let's work out the schedule. Where do you want your 1,000th game to be? Most guys want it close, either in their hometown where they live or close by. Obviously, I wanted it here. I had it here in St. Louis, and Tisha and the kids were, young at the time. They get to come on the ice.
That's
Chicago
awesome.
was playing. Taze and Bacchus come over and give me a jersey and some signed stuff. It was a great night, but a funny story to that. So the referees, same as the players back then. It's a lot different now. As far as, the players are protein shakes and the back in the early 2000s, and when I came in 98 in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, the boys like to have fun. They like to get together after the game, and we like to get together before the game sometimes, because guess what? We're not getting up to go to work at 8 o'clock. I can sleep all day and go do my job at 7 o'clock at night. So night before my 1,000th game, I've got the refs that are working my game. You handpick the guys that you want to work. They're out at my house. And Quenville's texted me that day because he's the head coach of the Blackhawks. And he goes, PLZ, because we were staying at the Ritz as well. And, normally a normal game in St. Louis, I would stay at my house. But for this special event, I was staying with my crew at the Ritz. And Joel's like, PLZ, I'm down here with Kitch. What time are you coming down? I'm in the cigar lounge. So we show up at 10 o'clock after leaving my house. Everybody's, 3 sheets to the wind. We get in there, and Quenville's sitting there, and we're smoking cigars. And I look over at him. I go, Joel, what are you giving me for my 1,000th game? A Rolex or something? I said, if you give me a signed stick, I said, I'm going to break it and shove it up your you-know-what. And we're all laughing and howling, and things are great. Come out to start the first period, come out to start the game, Chicago, St. Louis. It is a war. Bacchus and Taze fought in the first period. We got a headshot. Somebody got kicked out of the game. And I look over, and Joel's on the bench just giving it to me from the bench. And I'm like, that's the great thing about hockey and sports, though, is that you can go from being buddies to just ripping each other to then meeting up at Obie Clark's after and having a beer. Like, it's the way it is. It's a great thing about our game.
It's fantastic. And also other feathers in your cap were the All-Star game, the Olympics. I mean, is there anything other than your 1,000th game that you're super proud of?
Probably the Olympics. That was great to get selected. Because
Which one did you work?
2014 in Russia, in Sochi. And I wasn't working the game, but I was sitting there watching Team USA play the night that became TJ Sochi, when TJ kept going in, TJ Oshie kept going in for the shootout. And then I was fortunate enough, I got selected to work the bronze medal game between the USA and Finland. And that was Solani's last Olympics. And funny story, I don't know if Finland had ever won a medal at the Olympics. And it was Solani's last season or last Olympics. He's getting ready to retire. And I called 2 penalty shots in favor of the USA. Kane was in on a breakaway, gets his stick broken. Another guy got hauled from behind. Well, Solani thinks I'm just sticking it right up there, you know what? And he comes over, and he is just he's spitting. He's so mad. And I'm like, if this was an NHL game, he's getting a 2, he's getting a 10, I'm whatever. But I'm like, I got to eat this. This is Teemu Selanne. He's Mr. Finland in hockey, or Mr. Hockey in Finland. This is his last Olympics. I got to eat whatever he's given to me, and I got to suck it up. And so Finland comes back. They win the game. We go to the hotel afterwards. Here comes Team Finland in. And he sees me and he's like, PLZ, and it hugs and beers. And I go, you are a front runner. I said, 4 hours ago, you wanted to rip my head off. Now I'm the best ref in the world.
Well, we see that golf has got rule changes all the time. I mean, that's, and Jay, you would agree with that. So this is a golf show, but we love having sports figures from other venues. So what changes do you like in the game, or what needs to happen in the NHL game to make it a better game, in your opinion?
I don't think we need to make any more changes.
Enough.
I think we've made too many changes. I was watching Tuesday night the ESPN Frozen Frenzy, they called it, where they had 16 teams playing on Tuesday night. Connor Bedard scores a goal. The Madhouse,
they took it away. I saw it.
The Madhouse at Madison's going crazy at the United Center. And all of a sudden, it's a half an inch offside. We've brought in too many replays, but I think that's probably indicative in all sports right now, that we brought in too many. When we brought in the replay, it was to get an egregious offside, something that was 2-3 feet offside. Like I said to Roenick the other day, how many goals were scored when you were playing that were an inch or two offside, and nobody gave it a second thought? Nobody even thought about it. But the problem is now, they can't take it back because of social media. I think social media has played a big part in football and baseball and hockey, where if an umpire misses a call, it's on social media within seconds. Same thing in hockey and in football. So it's the world we're living in, and unfortunately, I guess we need to learn to adjust, but I don't like the offside. But as far as the rules, the players, they're not getting hooked and held like they used to. I'm shocked that Mario Lemieux and Gretzky and all these guys were able to accumulate so many points that they did back then, because they were hooked and held and tripped and so on. Now everything's called, and it gives it's the superstars are able to show their skill.
Pilsy, one of the things that you've experienced through your career is the massive changes in hockey. I can remember playing golf with Brett Hull, and looking at him, and his forearms are bruised, and he's like, it's a rodeo out there, where he's literally got his left hand, pushing somebody off, and his right hand on the stick trying to score. How difficult was it to watch and experience that as on the fly?
Yeah, it was an adjustment for sure. So when they brought in the new rules was after the 2004 lockout. So we were locked out for the entire year, and which was difficult. The players weren't getting paid, the officials weren't getting paid, and it was a difficult year. But
broadcasters,
everybody, right?
Yeah, I was with you.
And so they said, how can we make the game better coming in out of the lockout? And then that's when they said, we're going to eliminate, because what they didn't write a new rule book. They just said, call the rules. Because hooking was always in there, holding was always in there, slashing. They were always in there. But back then, the players, it was accepted from the GMs, from the coaches, and from the players. We don't want you to call a lot of penalties. Just call 1 or 2 on each team, keep everybody happy. And then basically, Stephen Walkham, the director of officiating at the time, came in and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to clean up the game, going to clean up the neutral zone, and make it faster for everybody.
I can't imagine how difficult that would be on you, because you're like, well, I'm going to, this is happening 72 times in a game, and I'm only going to call 3 on each side. That's difficult. But one of the things that drives me crazy, and I love the game of hockey, is the difference between regular season and the playoffs. And again, I think of you as a referee, how difficult is that? Because they don't want you to call hardly anything in the playoffs.
Well, it used to be like that, but it's funny. I was on a show last year when the playoffs was starting, and it was Paul Bissonnette and Spittin' Chicklets, and he's like, you guys put away the whistle. And I said, well, Paul, actually, here's the stats. And I read off the stats from the last 2 years, and penalties were actually up in the first round compared to the regular season. So there is that it's been like that for so long that people still think it's like that, but actually they still are instructed to call the penalties. Maybe in the third. So what happens is in the first round, it's chaotic because the best playoffs to watch is the first round of the playoffs. Then as teams get eliminated, there aren't as many penalties called. You get to the third round and then the Stanley Cup Finals, there's not a lot called because it's intense, but it's not the same style of hockey as in the first round.
Give me the foursome as we wrap it up that you want to play with or have played with. That some names that really pop out. And it could be somebody on a personal level or somebody professionally in a different sport, the referees. I don't care who it is, but give me a foursome that you're like, that was fun or would be fun.
I'd love to play with Jordan and Barkley.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. I love listening to Barkley, and I don't know if I could gamble as much as Jordan does on the golf course. He might be a little too rich for me. And I guess my fourth... You know what? It's funny. He's not a famous guy, but my favorite guy to play golf with, and I tell people this all the time, is Darren Pang.
Yeah,
I love playing. He's got about 6 bets going at the same time. He's never in a bad mood. We played together a couple weeks ago. He slid in town for a couple days, and we went out and played. He's my favorite guy to play golf with.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
this has
boys.
been great.
Thanks for having me.
And again, the podcast,
Snipes and Stripes, on nofilter.net. You can catch it on Spotify or Apple.
Awesome. That's Jay Delsing, Tim Peel. I'm Dan McLaughlin. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing as we come to you from the Car Shield Studios and as always presented by Darty Business Solutions.
I want to welcome Redbird Heating and Cooling to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You can reach them at 314-320-9507 or on the website redbirdhvac.com. CEOs Jed Dickinson and Jerry Pearson run the area's most responsive and dedicated heating and cooling company that's been conscientiously supporting the St. Louis area for the last decade. Just last month, when my air conditioner stopped working, Jed and his team were at my home at 7 a.m. to replace one unit and then repair the other. Your money, like it's our money, was Jed's statement to me, and the repairs for Unit 2 was less than $200. If you want to work with a family-owned business that you can trust, then call 314-320-9507 or visit them at redbirdhvac.com. That's redbirdhvac.com.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
Family Golf and Learning Center. No matter your age or skill level, Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood, has something for you. They've got it all. PGA and LPGA instruction, double-decker driving range, par 3 golf course, TrackMan simulators, a large short game green design to help you with all your shots around the green, bunkers, rough, and Zoysia fairway pitching. And now open, the Tahoma Bermuda Grass Tees, the best turf to hit from in St. Louis. It's all at Family Golf and Learning Center. To schedule a lesson or to find out more, visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or cards or blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from, or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
I'd like to welcome I Promise to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. What is I Promise, you ask? It's a St. Louis-based company with the most clinically backed eye health performance supplement brand with over 20 years of eye health expertise and nutrition science. It's all natural, and their cutting-edge science and technology has helped I Promise forge many exciting new golf partnerships, like with the PGA of America, the Titleist Performance Institute, the Ledbetter Academy, and many more. Perhaps the most exciting component for me is that all of this new improvement is measurable. I can tell you that in my case, my initial score was around .25, and after taking the I Promise product for 2+ months, my score soared to almost .60. It had more than doubled. I can now read the greens better because I'm not really dealing with as much glare and trying to manage that, and I squint much less when I'm playing golf. And you don't have to take it from me. Check out what Padraig Harrington has to say about this product. He is playing some of the best golf of his career in his early 50s, and he swears I Promise has helped improve his short game. Check out I Promise. That's I Promise, the company helping us to see better, play better, and live better. Visit them at ipromise.com.
This is Dan McLaughlin alongside Jay Delsing, and this is Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions, as we come your way from the CarShield studios. So far on this show, on this Sunday morning, we've heard from Matt Horner of Worldwide Technology. He's down in Mexico with the Worldwide Technology PGA event. And moments ago, just a great visit with Tim Peel, the former NHL referee who calls St. Louis home. Jay and I, we both are so appreciative to our listeners on Sunday mornings, and something that we are going to do is that you will be entered into a drawing to have a golf experience with us. All you have to do is head to jay@jdelsinggolf.com. That's jay@jdelsinggolf.com. In the subject matter, put foursome, and you will have a chance next spring to play with us. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll make it a lot of fun. That's jay@jdelsinggolf.com. Also, if you have questions for Jay, make sure and head to that email address as well. We're heading down the stretch. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. We're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Powers Insurance and Risk Management is a family-owned local business that's been helping our community for over 200 years. In the always confusing world of insurance, Powers Insurance provides clarity, exceptional service, and the latest in cutting-edge products to deliver the highest quality in property and casualty coverage, as well as strategic planning consultation services. Powers Insurance and Risk Management will partner with you. That's right, partner with you to customize the right coverage for you and your family. Tim Davis, the Chief Operations Officer, will personally sit down and talk you through the ins and outs of your policies. They are experts at helping you control your workplace expenses and helping to guarantee the safety of you and your employees and their needs. You can visit them at powersinsurance.com. That's powersinsurance.com for all of your insurance needs.
Heading down the stretch on this Sunday morning on 101 ESPN with Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. As always, we're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions, coming to you from the CarShield Studios. We've had the chance to visit with Matt Horner in hour number one, a VP of Worldwide Technology, and just wrapped up our interview in studio. Thank you again to Tim Peel for stopping in. I don't know about you. I love sports. I'm a baseball guy at heart, but if I probably could have played any sport outside of baseball, it would have been hockey. I love playing the sport of hockey.
It is a great watch. It's one of the few that is better in person. Like if you go to an NFL game, Danny, you're like, what? I feel like the NFL experience is way better on TV.
It's a great television
right.
experience.
And you go to this, there's so much dead time, so many. Anyway, I'm with you. Hockey.
Get yourself a front row seat and watch it happen.
Strap it, yeah, because there's action so fast. These guys are so skilled, and Peelsy is a stud. I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask him how old he was. He's in his
I think early 50s, mid 50s, something like that.
He just looks great. He looks like he could just run a marathon right now.
What a story he is too. He's adopted.
I know.
Grew up in a trailer park. Grew up next to a golf course.
I know.
And really the business side of what he wants to do in his life begins by, grabbing a bag for somebody and becoming a caddy, and that's how it all began as a kid.
I love that.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I know, because, Danny, I can remember the first time I caddied for this guy at Norwood. His name was John Gammon. And I was listening and hearing things that he was speaking about with his playing partners that I had never heard in my life. And I was like, wow. They're talking about things first of all, I don't know one thing about it, but I couldn't get more. I was like, I want more.
You also, though, you were a kid saying, how old were you when you first started?
Like 13,
you said. Yeah. I could really kick their ass right now if they gave me a club.
I was thinking that sometimes. You know what I used to do, Danny, is I how I hunt for golf balls?
Yes.
So
you're amazing at it.
So I would hunt for golf balls, so they'd invariably hit their ball somewhere. And if I didn't find their ball, I didn't turn the balls I found into them. Like I'll give them to you, or I'll give them to the guys we're playing with. I'm like, I know you lost one over there. Here's 3 more. Well, I used to put them in my pocket. And then we take the caddy cut. We used to call it the caddy cutoff. So like if they were going down, this was bad. If they were going down, so let's say they hit the green and they were walking down the old number 13.
So what was up your sleeve here, Delsing?
I would hand them the putter and the driver and take the caddy cutoff and walk up to where their drives would come in the next hole. So that would give us about 10 or 15 minutes of not having to do anything. Well, I got 7 balls in my pocket. I'm hitting their clubs. So the guy said to me at one time, he goes, I kept hearing something hit the woods over there. Were those golf balls flying? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't like his club. I don't like his. So
that's how you're getting better.
I was like, man, I hit his club. And I'm like, man, I could hit this better than he can.
Awesome.
That's I'm always thinking. And then, oh boy, yeah, I was not the ideal caddy. That's for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to get into, before the show is through, kind of the good, the bad, and what maybe is in the future for Liv. I'll start with the bad. And to me, it's pretty simple. It's a lack of drama. The PGA Tour, you got drama. And right now, Liv is trying to conjure up some type of drama, but they just don't have it right now, do they?
No, there's no question. I mean, Danny, from the great Jack Nicklaus to the Hall of Famer Lee Trevino to Hall of Famer Tom Watson to Hall of Famer Curtis Strange, and the list goes on. Andy North, Dottie Pepper, all Hall of Famers. They all said the same thing. This is an exhibition.
Sure.
This is not. Listen, I dare anybody, send me an email, j@jdelsinggolf.com. Tell me who the last 10 guys in the field are. Just who are they?
And you and I follow it. I can't even tell you who that might be. Maybe Brooks Koepka's brother.
Yeah, Chase. Yep. There's only 48 guys in the field, and I can't name the bottom 30.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on, guys.
I could tell you about Koepka, DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, Cam Smith, DJ, and that's about it.
I know Philly Mix tossed in there, but he's
yeah.
usually towards the bottom 10.
How about stagnation with this tour as well? Really no leap in year 2.
Right.
There was a little buzz beginning of the season, and then that was it. So you're always trying to grow as a league, as a franchise, so to speak, and they're just not doing that right now.
Who did they add?
That's where I'm going.
And I know that once this quasi agreement went down that they said, okay, we're not going to poach any more of your players. But, Danny, there's more stuff going on behind the scenes than we have any clue about. And for me, have a business model that makes sense to the average guy. Figure a couple of things out. Don't randomly throw money at charity and call this a charitable endeavor. It's just disingenuous.
Which leads me to franchise sales. Remember, they could buy teams, and 2 seasons have come and gone. They've yet to announce any of its 12 teams being purchased, and we understand the asking price is big, but this is supposed to be a big part of what they were doing.
I agree, and that's a double-edged sword, because I think you'll agree with me. I think there's real weight and real interest if it's done properly with the team concept. I think we could do some really, really fun stuff there, get different regions involved with certain players and move players around and have some fun with that. Not the way they're doing it. I just don't see it. And maybe there's things that aren't fully developed from them yet, Danny, that are going to come our way in year 3. But so far, it's been extremely underwhelming. And I don't know. I think there's only one corporate citizen company that's jumped on board, and it's one of Patrick Reed's
I believe
sponsors.
that's right. Yeah.
And I think that's the only one so far. So, there's. When you go to the CW, they're trying to, ad sponsorship is the thing that sells everything. I mean, the reason why the PGA Tour is so successful is that look at who our partners are. It's the bastions in the business community, man. You've got Worldwide Technologies in there. You've got American Express. You've got Coca-Cola. You've got the Mercedes. The list goes on and on and on of all of these top tier companies in our country. Where's that?
Yeah, they don't have it.
Not yet.
But do they even need it? I mean, when you look at the money that's behind it, that's really the question. Do you really even need it?
Right. And so I just finished reading Live and Let Die, and I'm giving it to you right after this show. It's a great read. You'll plow through it, especially the way you read. You'll plow through it. It's an extremely interesting book because one of the takeaways is that the Saudis, they do not like no return. Now, money's coming out of the ground, as Pat Perez says, and this is just it's a bushel full every hour. Something crazy about $1 billion a day or something, but they do not like investing in stuff with no return.
Interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Let's go to some of the good. That was the bad. As we're 2 years into Live right now, I think you'd say a major championship presence is something that has been good for them. Koepka had a 4-stroke lead after the third day of the Masters. Mickelson dazzled. He had a 65, I think, in the final day of the Masters.
Yep.
Koepka wins the PGA Championship.
Right.
So their presence was felt in the majors.
No question. No question about it. I think something that went kind of under the radar too, D, is I think P. Reed finished 10th in that Masters. So
that's a good call.
You know
that's
what
right.
I mean? They had there just wasn't enough. But I mean, look at the players that they have. I mean, their top 5 players are, DeChambeau finished 4th in the PGA Championship. I think that Koepka wound up winning. He was
if he doesn't take a snowman, he wins the U.S. Open maybe.
I know.
Talking about DJ there.
I know. Yeah. Oh, no question about that.
Yeah.
Yep. So DJ finishes 10th at LA Country Club and so DeChambeau finishes 4th at the PGA Championship. So their pedigrees are not what we're questioning. But here's what happens, D. How do you stay sharp? What is it that makes you want to go out there and say, well, I'm hitting, my draws are fading, my fades are drawn, but I'm going to go dig this out of the dirt, and I'm going to go practice. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm not going to, Is
it me, or did some of the guys get a little bigger?
I thought they got bigger. When I saw Brooks the first time, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, but he's definitely not.
When I'm saying bigger, not in the best of shape.
Yeah. It didn't look like they added a bunch of muscle.
Their wallets got bigger, though.
Maybe the back pockets where they got fat.
They had to make sure and have some space for that wallet.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I just wonder, how do you, human nature takes over. Do you look at your bank account and go, phew. Brooks Koepka, and I just added $135 million to this thing. It's not bad.
Well, here's one of the good things, too, and it's content creation. Remember, media rights, that was the big talking point. Players, when they made that leap to Live, and it was a cool way to really kind of showcase what they do, go behind the scenes, pull the curtain back. There was a final round 58 by DeChambeau, and he went behind the scenes with that. It was like 1.2 million viewers on YouTube on a behind-the-scenes thing.
Yep.
I just think it's good. If the product is the players. Ultimately, it is about the players. I don't care what sport you're talking about. The product is the players. No offense to Tim Peel, our guest earlier. People aren't paying $200 to go watch Tim Peel ref a game.
Nope.
It's just the way it is.
And
the
Tim
product
Peel
is the players.
Is such a good dude. He would tell you
Same thing.
Best game he's ever reffed is one that nobody knew he was on the ice.
100%.
He did his job, and it wasn't.
My thing is the content creation with the players.
I
wish we knew a little bit more. Now, Full Swing allowed you to do that with PGA Tour players, and then a couple of them jumped to Live. But finding out more about who these guys are, and that's the question, or what you're trying to do in every single sport. But Live is let these guys kind of do what they wanted with their own name, image, and likeness, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this all along. We've not huge lovers of Live, but there's plenty of good that this is going to bring to the game, right? And I think at the end of the day, if I've got to come up with something that's extremely positive, is that if we can figure out a way to where if this Saudi thing's going to happen and we've got to accept it, then let's figure out a way to use that money to the betterment of everybody that plays this game. How the hell are we going to do that?
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I mean, I'd rather have the money come from somewhere else, to be honest with you. But if that's
I'm with you on that.
If that's not the way it is, I mean, we have no dog in this fight. We can't make one damn bit of difference in it. But if that's the way it's going to be, then let's take this money and make the game better, grow the game, and do the right thing here.
So the next thing, as we wrap up the show and wrap up this discussion, if the two sides come together, if Live Golf exists, the question then becomes, in what manner? How does this all shake out? And it sounded like a few months ago, it looks like there's a framework agreement deal in place to make this thing work, and we have not heard hardly anything about that since, because I think they themselves are trying to figure out what does a framework of a deal look like so it works for both sides.
Absolutely. So, I've been this close to having Davis Love come on the show, and I was just texting him, and he said, Jay, I'm still involved. He said he'd come on once this stuff starts settling down. He just did an interview with Golf Week yesterday, and he said, or maybe 2 days ago, and he said there is no way, in his opinion, that we're going to get this framework agreement done by the end of the year, and if we're going to do it with them, there's going to be an extension. We're going to have to prolong this. So, Danny, to me, that means a full season to live in 2024, and we're going to start looking at 2025 as some sort of turning point, focal point for both tours, where Live will more than likely fold, and there'll be some pathway back for these players to get united. And then maybe there's some other tour, Danny, that's created a la Live that lives, around the world that just doesn't have these players. You know, maybe a player here or there that comes in and does an event or two. Maybe it's a just in time. Maybe there's some agreement that says, hey, here's what we're going to do. Every third event, we're going to bring 3 PGA Tour guys over, and they're going to play in this thing. And, and here's one in Scotland, and this one's over in Thailand, and then there's one in Japan. And so this tour is going to
share the players, so to speak.
And it's going to somehow live. But I promise you, if it does, it's going to be way more organized. It's going to have a business model that makes sense, so that when we go to our sponsors and we go to, Matt Horner at Worldwide and say, Matt, we know you're, dealing with this, a new business opportunity and, making something up. What do you think if we put something like this together? And we will guarantee you that each year you're going to have Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, and Dustin Johnson, something similar to that. I could see something like that happening, Danny, where we start saying, all right, so we're going to spread these players out across this format and try to stabilize it a little bit, and it'll be some other entity other than direct competition to the PGA Tour.
It's well put.
I don't know, man. I thought about this too long, bro.
I know.
And I'm not that smart. My head hurts.
About 30 seconds. Did you like the book, though? Alan Shipnuck, Live and Let Die?
It's great. What he does best, in my opinion, he doesn't have an axe to grind. When you and I read the Phil Mickelson book, we both came away and saying, I think he likes Phil.
I did too.
I know, and so I thought he wrote it from a very neutral perspective, and this gave a nice, thin description of the kingdom and what is going on over there,
the
and
background.
What did that look like? Like, what is this royal family? What did this look like? Saudi hasn't always been, this, and what's happening. So I like it. I can't wait to get your opinion on it.
Awesome, Jay. This has been a great show. Matt Horner has been our guest. Tim Peel. And love talking to you. Thanks for doing it, and we'll catch up again next Sunday.
You're the best, Danny Mac. Hit him straight, St. Louis.
You beat me to it.
I got you. Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center located in Kirkwood. Our motto is play your best golf. We have the best instruction for every skill level. 2 female instructors along with our 8 PGA instructors. We're there for the kids and the adults who are starting to play and trying to refine their game. Family Golf and Learning Center features a double-decker driving range, grass tees, and a short game area, along with indoor simulators and a performance center. That's not all. Don't forget about our Back Nine Bar and Grill. Find out how we can help you and your family. Head to familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. And the reason we have them is because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and very easy. Their customer service is second to none. They provided my daughter with a loaner car when her Passat needed repairs. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester and Kirkwood, you'll become a customer for life because they'll treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make, and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Hey, Delsing here, and my show Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions, is heard every Sunday morning right here on 101 ESPN from 8 to 10. It's the biggest names in golf, tips for your game, and much more. That's Golf with Jay Delsing on 101 ESPN.